All right, what is good, family? Welcome to another video. Today, as you guys can tell by the title, it's a pretty I want to say important day for me, just because a year ago today I sent that message to my future to be boss that I was gonna go do life insurance with, and I ended up texting him saying it's not for me. I'm not gonna end up coming in, and I threw my entire self into trading. And yeah, it was 1 year ago today, so I really just want to come out here and talk to you guys about my entire journey of my first year trading, taking the risk, and all my emotions I went through, the happiness, the downfalls. Oh my god, there's been ups, there's been downs, there's been higher highs, there's been lower fucking lows. If you know, you fucking know. So let's just start all the way in the beginning, right? October 2024, decide to move to Florida. Okay, at this point in time, never touched any trading content. Yeah, I made a lot of money in crypto, but that was just strictly from investments. I wasn't crypto trading. I was literally just investing. Bitcoin happened to go up. I bought a couple Bitcoin when it was at 20,000, and it ended up going up all the way to like 100,000 per coin. So I was pretty set with like a savings account because of my early investments in that. Whatever. Come out here, have no job. Coming to study as a life insurance agent, whatever. Can't pass the fucking test to save my life. Just studying is not for me. Like, I've just never been good at like reading books or retaining knowledge, right? I'll just read something and it'll go in one ear, out the other, right? Or I'm reading it, but I'm not really comprehending it. And that was one of the biggest struggles I've ever had, whether it was school or whether it was outside of school. Like, I can't retain knowledge unless if I'm super interested in the topic. And trading just happened to be that. So I'm failing this test over and over and over again. I have 5 tries. I fail the first 4 times. Okay. After the 4th time, right, you needed a 60% to pass, and I got a 59%, I think it was. Or I needed a 70 and I got a 69%. It was one. I was off by 1% on the 4th try, and I was like, it was just defeating. I really felt defeated, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to work a normal job. I just came from a normal job in California, and I was like, fuck, I have bills to pay. Like, I was at a severely uncomfortable point in my life. And at this point in time, I'm like, okay, I have to make something work. So I would say mid-December comes around, like, okay, I'm watching TJR's bootcamp, but not like religiously. I'm just day in, day out, like maybe every other day I would watch a couple videos of his, take notes, whatever. The New Year's came along, 2025 comes along, and I'm like, okay, I severely have to make a change, whatever. And you guys will see the text messages I sent to my future boss in a second. I'll throw it up on the screen. However, before that, I'm like, fuck, I really have to make something work. Like, I have to make something work. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Like, okay, maybe I can live out here for a year on my savings, but that's a lot of stress, whatever. Worst case, I go back home. And ultimately, I had no other choice but to make it work. So January comes along, and here I am studying day in and day out, and I fully like kind of throw myself in. And it was on February 12th, 2025, where I texted my boss, and I'll read you guys the text message real quick, and I'll put it on screen so you guys can read it as well. I said, "Hey John, it's JJ. I just want to thank you and Mo for taking your time out of your busy schedule to interview me. As you know, the office is a great environment. I just don't think sales is the right fit for me. I have found something I'm very passionate in, and I'm going to pursue that trade. If I can reimburse you guys for buying me the life insurance course, I would be happy to do so. Again, thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it." And he said, "Thank you, no worries." And that was the end of the conversation, and that was on February 12th, 2025 at 8 in the morning. And I actually sent that text message, and my heart was beating, and I sat in my room and I cried for like a minute straight. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is my moment to take the risk. I'm finally doing what I always wanted to do. I tried to trade options prior years ago, like 2021, 2022-ish. Didn't know what I was doing. I was just essentially gambling, putting my money in the market, and hope to God it fucking made money, right? Didn't even understand really option trading when I jumped into it. And I sent that text message, and from there on, I really started to just throw myself in 110%. I was up till 4 in the morning, maybe like 6 months straight of just taking notes, rereading the notes, watching video after video after video after video. And before I even got into prop firms, so I bought my first Top Step evaluation in January, February, March, April, in early April of 2025. And obviously I failed my first prop firm, whatever. Okay, I failed a couple more, and then I finally passed a set of 5 of them. And it felt really good because I was in, I would say, like my third month of trading, I guess you can say, but it was really 2 months of me studying and a few weeks of me actually in these evaluations. And it felt good. I knew the blown accounts would come, and that was completely fine with me because at that point Top Step was only like $50, and I didn't have to pay any activation fees because I was blowing the evaluations. So I was perfectly fine with that. And I finally passed a 5 set. The first day I make $600, whatever. The next day I end up making $1,200. So I'm at like an $1,800 account balance within 2 days. And at this point in time, I'm trading like TGR strategy, where it's like wait for a fair value gap retest, okay, 5-minute break of structure, fair value gap retest, and then 1 minute like CISD, 1 minute break of structure out of that fair value gap. And that was ultimately what I was trading, and it was working. And then all of a sudden, the very next day after I had those 2 winning days, I went on tilt and I blew all those accounts, and it was devastating. Because I remember 2 days, 3 days prior, I called my mom and I was like, oh my god, I passed these accounts, I can actually start making money now with this, whatever. And I felt like a total failure. And obviously I haven't been at that point in time before in my trading journey, so I was like, I didn't know what to do. I crashed out, and I made a video to myself saying I would never do that again. And long story short, I did it for another like 3 months. It wasn't until June, I want to say mid-June, I passed another eval. And mind you, I'm going through accounts left and right. So from late April to mid-June, just imagine this, I'm blowing consecutive like 5 accounts like almost daily at this point in time. Like I just did my taxes for last year, and here is what I spent. So here's all the things at the bottom. So for alpha futures in 2025, I spent $1,063. Take profit trader, I spent $1,425. Tradeify, I spent $2,398. My funded futures, I spent $3,000. And Top Step, I spent $6,730 on evaluations. Okay, so that put me, I want to say, in a hole because I have like reserves in my crypto, but it was kind of like demoralizing because I'm like down now like $15,000 and I haven't made a single dollar yet. I can't even pass an evaluation. So at this point in time, I'm like, oh my god, is this really for me? But I knew deep down, like, I wanted to take the risk. I'm not going to get all the nice shit. I'm not going to retire my family. I'm not going to be able to live the life I always desired just doing a normal job. It just wasn't for me. It never has been for me. And I worked a normal job for like 6 years prior to this. So I knew I had to make something change. So between late April and mid-June of 2025, I was going through account after account after account, and I was in one of the darkest places ever. I was crying. I didn't know what to do, whatever. Finally, I'm like, okay, is it the strategy? Is my psychology? Ultimately, it was all of it. Because as you guys know, 2025 price action, there was hardly any retracements, right? We would make a move and then just pump or dump one way or another. So I was like, okay, how do I get in on this without essentially gambling and just entering blindly? So I finally found my inversion strategy. And at that point in time, mid-June, I decided to take it slow. And I'm taking it slow. It took me about, I would say 2.5 weeks to pass an evaluation. Finally passed my 5 on Top Step. And then I get to the XFA stage around like, I would say early July. And it took me, I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to rush anything this time, because the last time I was in the XFA stage, I blew it within 3 days. So I was like, I'm not going to rush anything, whatever. First week, I had a few break evens. The next week, I only made like $300. Week after that, I was like minus $200 on the week. So really, my account balance is like $200, if that, right? And August comes along. Well, before we get into August, I ended up taking my first payout in late July, and it was a $2,500 payout. It was $500 per account. I hit $2,500 per each account balance. So I took a $500 payout just to secure my first payout ever. And it felt good, but I knew I was already so far in the hole and there was so much more to be done that I needed to continue on that path. August comes around, early August. I take my first $10,000 payout. It was $2,000 per account. I take my first $10,000 payout, and like I think it was like August 10th, and it felt great. Honestly, felt great. And 2 weeks after that, I took another $10,000 payout. So August was a really good month for me. Okay, I was on a high horse, and you guys all know what happens on a high horse. Once you get on that high horse, you're going to get knocked off one way or another. September comes around. I had a decent September. It wasn't as good as that $20,000 month I just had in August, right? But I still made about, I think it was like $5,000 or $6,000 in September. So I was like, okay, at least some money's coming in. Okay, October was a very tough month for me. I was traveling. It was my birthday. I was doing other stuff. I wasn't really focused on the charts, and I brought in, I think, $3,000 or $4,000 that month. So kind of like I'm still bringing in money, but it's slightly regressing a little bit, and it was kind of fucking with my psychology a little bit. So November comes along, and I blow a couple accounts, and what do? I get them back. I actually passed those evaluations in 3 days. I was taking good trades. I was following my setups, but when I blew those accounts, it kind of felt like shit, really, because I haven't done it in a very long time, and it wasn't necessarily stupid trades. Yeah, there was a few stupid trades I took, like any normal like beginner trader, I guess you could say. You're going to take stupid trades, or your technical analysis is going to be incorrect. And at this point in time, when I blew those accounts, I was like, okay, how am I going to react to this? Are we going to react good, or are we just going to blow the fuck up and do whatever the fuck? So I'm really trying to dial in my psychology at this point. And at this point in time, I end up passing those next 5 evaluations, and I'm back to the XFA stage. Okay. November comes along. I make $7,000 in November. It was a decently good month. See, in my head, trading has fucked the perception of money for me. So if I make anything under like $10,000, I mean, it's kind of frustrating, but I know that, dude, I would not make $7,000 in a normal job. So I always have to be thankful for what I'm even achieving. And it's kind of hard to do so when you're trading, because you're thinking about these $50,000 months, these $100,000 months. You're seeing all this porn on fucking TikTok of these traders fucking banging $10,000 trades, right? And you think you can replicate that in your first few months trading or your first year trading. And it's really hard to do that, okay? Because you don't know the market. Truly, like, you truly don't know the market, and you just learn the market over time. You can't teach it. It's just showing up day in and day out and learning it over and over again. And that was something I really only picked up on towards the end of 2025. So I decided to take it slow again. The Tradify Cup comes around in like late November. Yeah, it was the last 2 weeks of November, and I ended up placing like 155th out of like, I think, it was like 20,000 traders, 30,000 traders that entered the Tradify Cup, and I placed 155th, which got me into the live stage, where those next 2 weeks I can make money. And ultimately, I ended up finishing in 7th place out of like those $20,000 traders, and that netted me. They gave me $30,000, and then I was able to keep my account balance, or $28,000, and I was able to keep my account balance. I had like $3,000 in my account, so I decided to take it. Okay, made $31,000 in December. It was great. Okay. January comes along. What happens in January? Well, I didn't really trade besides the Tradify Cup in December, and the market was shit in December, so I didn't really trade. Okay, January comes along. I took a couple weeks off in December. First couple weeks of January, I'm trying to get my technical analysis down again because I was a little rusty. Okay, I ended up blowing those accounts again in mid-January. So now I'm like, here, we're doing this, right? We're going up, kind of retracement, we're going up, kind of retracement, we're going up, and then all of a sudden I blew the accounts again. So now we make like a deeper retracement, right? If you're a trader, you know what I'm talking about. And I end up making that deep retracement. So what do? I don't necessarily go on tilt, but now I'm back in the evaluation stage, and I'm like, okay, I need to hurry up and pass this. Now I'm back in that like same like mental aspect I was when I first started trading. I was like, I need to hurry up and do this. And anytime you try to rush something, and I learned this the hard way, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. I spent the next 2 weeks of January, the last half of January, just blowing accounts again, over and over and over again. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you guys, right? I'm not gonna fucking lie like I'm some superhuman and I'm just automatic. No, it was my first year trading. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out the tweaks to everything. Okay, whatever. And now we're here. Now it's February 13th. I got all my shit back. My psychology is pretty dialed in. And yeah, so long story short, what I really want to show you guys, and not show you guys, but explain to you guys, is no matter where you're at in your trading journey, I promise you it'll get better as long as you focus on the long-term vision. And that was something I severely struggled with. I always needed it right then and there, right now. And I was never thinking about the long-term vision. So now I'm like, okay, if I don't even get a payout in February, it is what it is. But as long as I'm building buffer and coming into the markets every single day, not hesitating, okay, not over risking, following my rules, just staying patient, staying disciplined, I'll be a-okay. And if I lose, it is what it is. And if I win, great, awesome, on to the next. And that's really the mindset I have now. And I wish I adapted that a lot sooner. So my message to you guys is, if you are just beginning trading, come into it with a patient mindset. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be super fucking hard, but I promise you, it will benefit you in the long run. Okay, that is my advice to you. Don't try to rush anything. Don't rush the payout. Don't rush the setup. Okay, don't rush the evaluation, because it'll come eventually. You'll learn everything just over time. And my market analysis has gotten so much fucking better from the time I started trading to the middle to the end of last year, all the way up until this point right now. I know where the next draw on liquidity is going to go. Okay, now I still struggle here and there, kind of with hesitation a little bit, and that is something I need to work on. Okay, obviously I'm not a fucking robot. Still in my first year of trading, so there's still some minor tweaks to be coming up. But after I made that deeper retracement that I was just talking about, I'm expecting this. Okay, I'm expecting a higher high now. Why? Because I know what I have to do on a day-to-day basis, and I know you guys know what you have to do as well. So my advice to you is just take it slow. Trust yourself in the long run. Okay, if it doesn't make sense right now, it is what it is, but trading is a long-term game. If you can make $100,000 in 2 years, that's $50,000 a year. That's probably more than you'll make at your normal job, whatever the fuck you're doing. Okay, so think about it like that, and then after those 2 years, I'm sure you'll know exactly what you need to do, and your trading will become a lot better. It all starts up here though. Okay, it all starts up here. If you can dial this in as fast as you can, you will become profitable faster than anyone on the internet. Okay, in fact, probably more profitable than most of these traders were in their first or second year trading. Okay, so my advice to you is just take it slow. You got it. I truly believe in you guys. You guys have to believe in yourself though, like I believed in myself. Like I said, I was in a severely uncomfortable place, and ultimately I wouldn't be where I am today if I never took that risk. So my advice to you, again, last advice, take the risk, believe in yourself, and never fucking give up. I love you guys. I hope this video can help you guys out in your own personal journey. Okay, if you guys like the video, like, comment, sub, whatever you guys want. If you guys want, links in the description for everything. I love y'all boys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.